Episode 923, Don't Forget to Ask.
It's time to train for life and love your journey. In this episode of Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, you'll learn new ways to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew your mind, body, and spirit. Please welcome your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Staring at a stop sign, watching people drive by.
Happy day, rise and shine, because today is it. You made it. It's Friday. Yes, the weekend is around the corner, and you get a break. Maybe you're going on vacation. Maybe you're taking a little camping trip. Hopefully your weather is not as hot as ours. Don't come north, at least not where we are, because it is steaming up here. Well, I hope you are steaming up your house today because it's confession day. Don't forget to ask. It's going to be a fun one. I promise you, you'll want to stay tuned. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the K.I.S.S newsletter, the Keep It Simple Strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Today is Confession Day. What do you have to confess to me? I sometimes feel like I should be in a priest suit now. I am not Catholic. I am of Christian faith, however. And so I'm not making fun of priests by any means, but understand that when I say it's confession day, I'm like, gosh, do I really feel like we should be confessing? And I think we should. It's good for the soul. It's good for the mind and the body. Why? Because it brings us to the true reality, where we are right now in our life. And no matter where you are, you can utilize this information today in what we're talking about. You see, the older we get, the greater our assumptions. However, don't forget to ask. Assumptions can be wrong and misleading. In parenting, it's a struggle to stay on the cutting edge of anything, especially technology. It seems like everything is moving faster. The kids are growing up faster. You can't slow them down. I mean, come on. They're hitting puberty before they're age 5, it seems like. Okay, they're not. I know that's stretching it a little bit, but you know what I mean. Everything just moves faster now. And our children have access to so much information. And we do too as parents. But what gets me is where we fail. Yes, you fail as a parent. I fail as a parent. Why? Because we don't use our resources. We flat out don't use them. Now, you don't have to be left out in the dark by any means. You just can't forget to ask. Don't forget to ask. My children have a way of teaching me every single day. I have 5 of them, as you well know. My oldest one, she is a senior now in college. She's going to graduate. Yes, maybe we'll get one through. Then we can celebrate. But she's getting a major in psychology, and then she's going to go on into the medical arena. We're not really sure right now. She's looking at medicine, which would be great as a physician. But we'll see, Only time will tell, and God already is mapping that out for her, and every single day is a new page turn, and so it's just exciting to see that. But I love it when we sit down and we have these true heart-to-hearts, and we get into the nitty-gritty of stuff. We dig deep into the core of things, and I love those conversations because she tells me things that she's learned, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of thought that, but now you say it like this, oh, it makes sense, and then I go and do more research, and then we have more discussions. It is awesome. I love that growth. My number 2 son, my number 2 child, he's my oldest son. Devin is one that just is, he just has a sweet, warm heart about him. And his major right now is in MIS. So he's all about technology. So I'm the mama who knows enough to be dangerous when it comes to technology. And if you can teach it to me, I can use it. But then it's like, okay, but I want to go even further. Well, guess who I call? Oh, yeah, I bring him on in and I say, okay, I want to do this, but how do I do it? Or he'll explain to me why it doesn't work or why I can't do this. I'm like, I'm dreaming big, son, but why can't this work? Or what am I missing? I love these conversations. It's just something about them. Do your children teach you something every single day? Maybe you don't have children, and guess what? That's okay. Maybe it's your coworkers, your best friend, your husband. Okay, all of this information we're talking about today here on Confessions can be used and utilized in your life. Well, let me talk about my number 3. So Ashley, she's my second daughter, but my number 3 is in child. I know I number them. It sounds weird, but it's easier for me to say my first, my second, my third, my fourth, and my fifth because it's hard to keep track of your own children, let alone somebody else's children. So I don't expect you to remember their names. I sometimes have to go through roll call before I get to their right name. Anyway, so Ashley is my little researcher. She just loves to dive deep into things and tear things apart. And it was funny because we were talking about watering the plants. We have been so dry here. The heat, we've hit 100 degrees now for 2, maybe 3 days now. Our heat indexes are way over 110. We're dying up here. And we don't just have an ocean outside our backyard. And we don't have a lot of lakes just outside our backyard. So we're hot. And you just you get on your knees and you thank the Lord for air conditioning. You're like, oh, Lord, please just let it hang on because it is hot and it's blistering. Well, she told me that she didn't need to water the plants tonight. I said, oh, yes, you do. We're not scheduled for any rain for like the next 3 weeks out. I mean, we've been watching it. Last week, we hardly got anything. This week, we weren't supposed to get anything. Next week's not looking real promising. And she goes, no, Mom, look here. And she showed me the radar. She uses this app. It's great. And she goes, Mom, there's a storm coming. And I said, well, how come the weather people, all the local channels are telling me there's not going to be a storm? Oh, sure enough, it hit. And it was like this quick gush. And we didn't know it was coming. I mean, even the weather people are like, we didn't see this one coming. It just kind of came together as a storm unit, and in it came. Now, we needed the rain, and I was so thankful. But I'm glad she didn't go out. Number 1, more cost to our water bill. Number 2, guess what? She used her resources. So I was so grateful. Then I've got my number 4. He's my Einstein, Noah. He's my number 2 son, but number 4 as in my child. And I say he's my little Einstein. He's actually taller than me, and he's almost cleared. He's probably a blink away from clearing our oldest son, Devin, in height. I mean, he's just on that cutting edge. And I'm like, yep, he's going to bypass him. He's going to shoot up. The boy's only 14. He's just a little thing. No, he's not little. But to me, he's always going to be my little Einstein. He's one that when he learns, he's got it. He's got the information, right? And he can tell me all about it. And he digs deeper, too. He's a researcher. Not so much as Ashley, who I just talked about. But Noah just likes to kind of, he learns it, and then he wants to use it. And he's very matter of fact, very black and white. This is how it is. Mom, do you not see that? Now, come on. Look here. And then he'll explain it to me. Very matter of fact. And I love that about him. Then we've got our little one, and that's little Grayson. Our number 5, a boy. So we've got our 2 girls and our 3 boys. And so him and I have fun because we like to use kind of the new technology, the apps. Like we'll use things like Instagram and Canva. We'll do stuff like YouTube pretty soon. The YouTube things, we're working on it. Yes, it's so exciting. The channel, it's already live, by the way. If you weren't sure, you can click on the link. It's in the show notes. Create Your Now TV. Subscribe so you don't miss the first episode. We'll have an intro episode that'll kind of tell you what's going on. And then we're going to start the episodes. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. It's going to be real. You're just going to see me. Okay, not just me. No, but you're going to see probably my family too. And we're going to be in the kitchen. We're going to be outside. We're going to be doing life together. It's going to be so much fun. So you're not going to want to miss that. So definitely click on the link in the show notes. But back to my son, because that's really what we're talking about here. It's confession day. So we've been talking about YouTube, and we'll go back and forth, and he'll say, Mom, you should look at this channel. This guy's been doing it for a long time, or this woman, and he'll say, this would be a good idea for you. We'll sit here. This is my little boy who's going to be in 7th grade, and we're talking business strategy together. I love it. Don't forget to ask, though. We have so much to learn out there. And our children can teach us every day. Our husbands can teach us. Our coworkers, our family, our best friend. Everybody can teach us something, yet it does take your willingness to listen and to spark the conversation. Yes, that is your kiss today. Spark the conversation, the Keep It Simple strategy. A lot of times, we started our whole conversation out today, our chat about assumptions. We go through life assuming things based on our past experiences. And so when things happen in our life, we make decisions usually pretty quickly, actually, on our past experiences. Now, sometimes that can be good and other times that can be bad. Because what happens? We become close-minded. We shut the door on ourselves because we don't open ourselves up to the possibilities, the opportunities. And that's why today you don't want to forget to ask. You want to spark the conversation. It's so important. Spark the conversation, especially with your children, because we don't do it. We get too stuck in our own world. We get too stuck in our own busy calendar. We let everybody else run our life. And then when we're done with everybody else running our life, we want to calm down and we push them out of the way because we need our chill time, because we're exhausted and we just want the world to stop going round. Does that at all sound familiar in your life? Come on, it's confession day. It's hard being a mom. It's hard being a dad. It's hard being that loved one that's listening and working to learn more, to be out there, to be proactive and not just reactive. You see, when you're not learning more, we're just reacting to things. That's where our assumptions come in. But the world is so much bigger. We can't get just stuck in our backyard. We've got to look beyond that. A lot of people say, well, Christiane, you guys are moving again. And I said, I know, I can't count on my hands and fingers and toes and all of that. How many times I have personally moved in my lifetime. I said, I have to borrow other people's hands and feet to count. It's crazy. But you know what? It's allowed me to see the world, not just my backyard. That's what happens in our life is we begin to live our lives from assumptions, just based on what we know, but there's so much more out there. And no, our children aren't necessarily know-it-alls, but yet they have access to so much information. We need to be able to allow them to share it with us. So what does spark the conversation actually look like? Well, let's break it down. Number one, ask them to show you. Have them demonstrate what they've discovered. That's so important. Ask them to show you. I mean, for example, with my youngest, and we're talking about YouTube, I'm like, pull up that channel. Number one, I don't want it on my screen because it's already bookmarked or whatever on his. So we just go and I let him do it. I let him show me. I let him find these things. And it's fun. He'll discover things about Instagram or about Canva or something else and, another app or whatever. And he'll say, Mom, look what I figured out. And some days, I don't want to hear about it. But other days, I make time. And I need to have more of those days than the other days. I've got to make time and ask them to show me. I want you to show me, son. Show me what you know. So ask. Number two, seek them out. Utilize what they know. You will be amazed what your children know. And you know what? You want to know what they know. And you also want to know where they're getting it from. I don't care what their age is. I don't care if they're 2 years old. I don't care if they're 22 years old. You need to know where they're getting their information from. Is their source reliable? Because if it's not, that gives you that opportunity to intervene. A bonus, woohoo! Yeah, you allow your parenting skills to kick in. But if it is a reliable source, if it is good information, guess what? Then you learn too. Bonus for you. You win either way. And what happens is when you're having these conversations, you're learning together. That's a bond. You're creating a living legacy right then and there. And that should be important when you look at your parenting skills, how good you are at building relationships. So ask, seek, and number three, acknowledge. Acknowledge when they're right, not just when they're wrong. This is the hard one. Full confession. It's easy to yell at your kids when they're wrong, isn't it? And we do it over and over and over again. It's easy to yell at your coworker or your husband especially, right? Wink, wink. Yes, we know. Women especially, yes. I know men, you don't necessarily do it all the time, but for some reason, us women like to say, I was right. What is it about that? Our ego? Yes, it is our ego. I'm going to leave that for another episode. But what we need to understand right here, right now, is that we need to acknowledge when they're right, not always when they're wrong. Yes, we need to help them and shape them when they're wrong and they make mistakes. Yes, we do. I'm not saying that you don't parent or you don't point that out. But the problem is when that's the only thing you do, are you really being the parent that God wants you to be? Think about how God parents you. He's your heavenly Father. Think about that. That's important. Yes, he disciplines us. Yes, he tells us definitely when we are wrong. He tries to kick us off our own ways and our own paths and put us on what? His path, his direction. But he also lets us celebrate, and he celebrates with us when we're right. Are we doing that with our children? I don't know. Are you? That's important to know because I know for me, I try really, really hard to acknowledge when they're right. You know that storm I was talking to you a few minutes ago with Ashley, my number 3? She said, yeah, Mom, there's going to be a storm coming, right? I don't need to water. I'm like, no, I'm looking outside. No, there's no rain coming. And she just kind of put it off. And we had to run an errand into town. As we were running that errand into town, we got a little bit of sprinkle. And that was it. I was like, she was, see, Mom, I told you. What did I say? Oh, no, honey, that was just a sprinkle. You're still going to have to water when we get home. She goes, oh, no, Mom. I'm telling you right now, there's a storm coming. I know there is. So later on that night, I don't know, it's probably about 30, 40 minutes later, the storm hit that she was talking about. And it was a blast of a storm. Lots of rain. She didn't say anything to me. I called on her, and I called out, and I said, Ashley, come here. And finally we connected because she was doing something, and I said, Ashley, you were right. That's all I said. But you know what? What did that do for her right then and there? It built up her confidence. It built up her self-esteem. It's not about Mom being right. Even though sometimes, yeah, we do play that card, and we play that card too many times. It's okay to let your child win. It's okay to let your husband win. Wink, wink, women. It's so important. Put your ego aside. Again, that's for another episode. But it is vital to your relationship. Don't forget to ask today. Maybe you want some help in this area, maybe in another area. Click on the link, Take Aim. I have a free gift for you, and that free gift is a coaching call with me. But it takes you to take action. And that means you have to click on that link. A little form will pop up. That form, you fill it out. It'll come right to me. And then within 24, 48 hours, depending upon my schedule, I personally get these. This goes to no one else. No one else reads this information. It comes directly to me. I will respond back to you. Be sure to look in your spam because every once in a while, yes, unfortunately, it ends up in your spam mailbox. I can't help that. But look there. And then we set up a time. And we actually get to chat specifically about your situation. It's my gift to you. So take aim today. Click on that link. It's time for you to spark the conversation, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your husband. Maybe you need to even spark the conversation with God. See where it'll take you today. Don't forget to ask, seek, and acknowledge. I hope you have a pleasurable weekend. Take some time off. Enjoy the weather. Maybe go jump in the pool too. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.